Thank you for participating tonight. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Shondell and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
Thank you. First of all, if you're on the call, appreciate what you do for the sport of volleyball. It's the fastest growing sport in America because we're finally getting some exposure for a great sport. So thank you for being here. This was a tough night for our team. We knew that we were in for a real challenge. We know Kentucky well enough, and we know some of the new blood that's come into that program and some improvements that they have made with some veteran players. And they were more than we could handle tonight. It's just that simple. They were outstanding. Congratulations to Craig Skinner, who's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. Carly Kramer, who was one of our Purdue players, who is one of the assistant coaches. To go to the Final Four for the first time, it must be an amazing feeling. And certainly was what our team had set their goal upon from the very beginning, was to try to accomplish that same thing. But we were not able to play at a level high enough to get that done. I thought the first set and a half defensively we were doing about all we could do against a team that's just a juggernaut. I think Washington will play them next, and Washington's going to have a challenge against this team because not do they have an arsenal of great arms. They've got a defensive outfit that just doesn't let the ball hit the floor very easily. It's a great combination. And then maybe the best setter in the country, certainly one of the top three. And you put all those things together, it makes for a tough chore to beat a team like that. And they're playing really, really well at the right time. So hope that wasn't too much, but I'll answer questions.
Thank you. Now we go to questions from the media. Our first question is from Sam King, so please unmute yourself and ask your question.
I have a two-part question. Dave, first of all, the first set, you're up, I think, 17-12. How pivotal was it that you needed to get that first set to have some momentum going into the second set and to kind of just, obviously against a team like this, you can't let a 5-point lead late in the set get away.
Yeah, and that came down to really good serving by them, and they're a good serving team. As I mentioned, I thought, to answer your question, yeah, when you're playing a team that has a little more talent than you do, as it appeared that they did as the match developed. And again, we're playing a team that we've never even seen live play. So you're watching them on tape all this time, and it's a little bit different when you face them, nose to nose. But yeah, it would have been great to win the first one. We didn't try to give it away. We had a nice lead. I thought a few things were going our way. They made some uncharacteristic hitting errors in that first set that allowed us to be in a position. We played really good defense. We had some people take some pretty good chops at the ball to get us in that spot. But then, they kind of narrowed their focus a little bit and made it difficult for us. So yeah, you always want to win the first one. It puts you a little bit at ease, but it didn't happen.
The second part is for this team to get this far. I know you lose two very pivotal pieces of this team, but by and large, your team's a pretty young team. How big was this season, was this run for this group where, a lot of these girls are coming back next year?
Well, I don't think you can replace the experience that they had. Number one, the battle of going through this year. What Craig Skinner told me after the match was that, he was kind of trying to be nice. He's a real gentleman, if you know Craig, that everybody was a champion that made it through this season because of what these players dealt with. And this is just, again, the challenge that it was to deal with COVID and be restricted to what you could do. But I kind of lost track of what your question. Oh, yeah. But there's no doubt that this experience of coming to the NCAA championship and playing 3 matches after getting the first round bye is great experience. We extended our season by another probably 20 days, I'm guessing. I kind of lost count once we got here. But we had more practice time. We had opportunities to prepare and learn a few things about how to play great competition. And unfortunately, we had a tough match tonight. And I'm not saying that we were awful. We weren't very good, but that usually has a lot to do with who you're playing, and Kentucky was lights out tonight.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Sam, really appreciate it.
If there's any more questions, please use the raise hand function. And I see JD, you're good to ask a question now. if you want to unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Gotcha, JD.
Hey, Coach, this is, the first appearance for a lot of your freshmen. Taylor Trammell kind of really stepped up tonight. What did you see throughout the entire tournament from your younger class, and what do you think this experience prepares them for during their volleyball journey?
Well, I thought Taylor played really well tonight, especially after about the first 15 points. I thought she was a little tentative in the first 15 points, and then she just started to play. She's a Lexington native, and so I think that she wanted to play well against Kentucky and a lot of the players that I'm sure she knows through club that have gathered there at the University of Kentucky. But I think it's been great for her. She's going to be a star in this sport as she gets better and her arm even gets stronger and she develops. We had plenty of sophomores that got a lot of time, and I know Sam mentioned that we'll lose two. We don't know if we're going to lose two or not. We haven't even talked to our two seniors about whether or not they're going to stay or go. This is a good nucleus. We've got some talent that you didn't see tonight. We had players that didn't play to their level tonight. There's no doubt about that. And sometimes when players want to win so badly and they want to do something that is significant for the program, they apply a little bit of unnecessary pressure on themselves. And sometimes that prevents them from playing at the level that they're capable of. But I don't fault anybody for that. I love this team. It's just a great group of people. And I think that, we'll continue to improve as a program.
Final question from me. Tim Newton asked this in a press conference right at the beginning of the tournament, but people are going to look back on this year and kind of remember it as the COVID year. What are you specifically going to take away from the 2021 season as your memory? What are you going to look back on as a real summary of this year?
I think, JD, all of the people that we heard from throughout the season that fell in love with our team. And, those who watched tonight may not have the same affection necessarily because it was just a tough match. But this is a team that plays hard. They're kind of like Kentucky. Kentucky just plays great defense. They play hard. Western Kentucky was the same kind of team. But our fans, if they weren't big supporters of our program. We had a bunch of them that became that way, and all throughout the NCAA tournament, we were just getting bombarded with people that wishing us the best and can't wait to get back into our Holloway gym next year to watch us play. So I think that, not that our program was in trouble. We went to the Sweet 16 last year with a great group, but I think there's certainly been a newfound affection for our volleyball team because of the character and the way this team plays.
Thanks for everything all season.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you, Coach Shondell, for your time tonight.
Okay, we done?
Yep.
Thank you.
Next, we'll be joined by Taylor Trammell here in a couple of seconds. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. All right, our first question will be from Sam King. So, Sam, you can unmute yourself now and ask the question.
Taylor, I know this is a tough end, but this has been a remarkable freshman year for you. And a lot of these girls are coming back. Maybe all these girls are coming back next year. How big was this season to get through this? There's a lot of teams in the Big Ten that didn't have very many matches. And secondly, to just get the experience of going to an Elite Eight, playing a team like Kentucky, and knowing we're going to carry this into the fall and be that much better because of this.
Yeah, something Dave always says is like every game in the Big Ten is going to be a hard game. There's nobody that ever lets up, and it's always just like who's going to push harder, and we did that this season. And the girls that were on the team, and you're just surrounding yourself with this type of energy that's always go hard type of mentality. They never gave up, and I think that's the reason why we had the season we had. They pushed me, and I pushed them. And for us getting this far in the tournament was kind of crazy for me, especially as a freshman. I never, ever thought that, like, the first year you get jumped into the Elite Eight. Usually that's something most teams have to work for their whole entire career. And it's crazy just to be this far, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm still really excited about what we have in the future.
What was it like for you going against Kentucky, which I'm sure you're familiar with Kentucky, and they probably know who you are?
Yeah, I know Coach Skinner. been really fun. It was a game that I was really looking forward to, and Kentucky's my home base, and I just knew everyone from home was watching, and it was going to be a big deal, and I wanted to make them proud, and I think I did that even though we lost the game. But I just know that if we ever play them again, it's going to be on.
How much did this team bond over the course of this year where it really was, kind of forced on you because of the situation that we're going through? But I think Purdue, more than a lot of teams, made the most of the opportunity to, hey, let's bond, let's get close, and I think you can see that carry over onto the court.
Yeah, because it was a COVID year, it was really hard, I know, for everyone around the world, trying to play volleyball with their team. But something about us is we got pretty lucky this year. We didn't have any COVID cases spiking, and we were able to play majority of our matches this season, which a lot of teams didn't do. And I think, being on and off the court with your team that many times, it's what really, prevailed us and what really got us, I got a connection with Haley that I probably never would have had if I would have missed, 6 games or 5 games just because of COVID. So that's something I'm so grateful about, and we took really good care about the situation, and we had to wear a mask in practice and just follow all type of protocols, but it was definitely worth it.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Our final question will be from JD Arlen. If you still have questions, you can unmute yourself now and ask those.
I'm all good. Thanks. Congratulations, Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor, you're good to go tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Good job. Nice job.
Thank you all for participating tonight in Purdue's press conference. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you again for joining us, and Kentucky's will get started here soon.
Thank you.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball post-match press conference featuring Kentucky. We will hear from head coach Craig Skinner first, followed by Allie Stumler, and then Madison Lilley.
Do you have a stat sheet? Does anyone have a stat sheet? Stat sheet?
Thank you for participating this evening. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Skinner and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Skinner, please give us a brief opening statement, and then we will go ahead with questions.
Well, just super proud of our team. Getting this done in the first ever Final Four for Kentucky is an amazing accomplishment for our program, and so many players came before that are here supporting us and watching on TV supporting us, and that was for all of the former players and Kentucky Wildcats out there that have been behind us for years. But our team was unrelenting, and you got down in a hole in the first set, and I don't think you could tell what the score was on their face, and they just continued to battle. And the serving that we put on tonight was really good to keep them off balance, and then just our defense. Our defense continues to get better, and to hold a team like Purdue to the same percentage they did tonight is a great accomplishment for our defense.
Thank you, Coach. Now we will go ahead with questions from the media. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Larry Vaught. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, Larry Vaught, VoutsViews.com. Craig, you had so many people play well, but I thought Gabby was just really impressive tonight. Maybe it's a little bias on my part, but I don't know. Well, what did you think of her play tonight?
Well, she's just in control, and she's always is composed, and people play well around her because of that presence. And she had a lot of digs, really anticipated really well. The one or two times Purdue setter tried to dump, she was ready for the setter attack, and she just continues to have a confident, composed demeanor about her, and that's why she's so relaxed and able to make plays at a high-level match like this.
Our next question is from Sam King. Go ahead, Sam.
Craig, Sam King from the Journal and Courier in Lafayette, Indiana. My questions are going to be more Purdue-based. First of all, congratulations. Secondly, what do you like about Dave's team where I know going into the season he said, I don't know what I've got here. I like my team, but a lot of young players, a lot of inexperience. And for them to get to the Elite Eight and to match up against you guys and play you pretty even in that first set, and then it seemed like the talent kind of took over. I think he kind of maximized what he had this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dave and John and Kat, and, I grew up with John and Muncie, but, their team's, identity is the same each and every year. They serve tough. They play great defense. They transition hard. They never stop competing. We got a lot of kills, but it was not easy to get those kills. And so, I think they just put a lot of pressure on you to execute at a high level and keep you off balance with their serving, short serving, deep serving. And this year's team, I think, to be honest, was probably one of the best blocking teams that Purdue has had. And, so those are the things that stand out to me right now.
Second part of the question, what does Carly Kramer mean to your program? What's kind of her role with your staff? And I know that she was a big part of Purdue's program. And when she was here, she said, I really want to get to a Final Four. So how cool is that? She's along for this ride as well.
Carly's built for that. That's what, she's a winner. She always has been. And, she's relentless in her job and her effort to be really good at her job responsibilities, and great recruiter and great teacher. She cares a lot and very honest. And, she adds so much value to the program. We're lucky to have her.
Thank you, Craig. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Our next question will be from John Clay. John, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Craig, as you mentioned, you fell behind, a little slow start, fell behind early. I think you called timeout when it was 11-6. Do you remember what you said to them at that point, and what do you think turned around that first set for you?
Well, I think it was important for us in the first 10 points to get a feel for what the environment was going to be, what the feel of the match was going to be, how Purdue executes, and so I knew kind of regardless whether we were up or down in the first 10 points, it wasn't going to be smooth. And so, just the message in those situations is, the score is what the score is, and we have to be prepared for the next point. So, in that particular time, I don't remember what rotation is, call to play, and, let's be good right now. And, from the beginning of the match on, it was play the point, it's over, move on. Play the point, move over, it's on. And I think that's what's most impressive to me, because if that set goes a different way, the whole complexity of the match can change. And so for us to be able to respond in adversity and down like that was obviously significant. We played really well at the end, but it may not have happened if we didn't turn it around at that moment.
Our next question will be from John Huang. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Craig, John Huang, NOLA Media, JustTheCats.com. I know how important this time has been for you. You've always been an ambassador for the sport, and you've been so passionate for the program. What does finally breaking through this Final Four barrier mean to you personally?
Well, it's certainly been a dream. I mean, just being able to compete in a Final Four as a player, being able to coach in a Final Four in the past, and I just want our players to feel what that's like and to understand, the reward of the effort you put in to get to this point. And the amount of effort this team has put in is unbelievable. And to get 9 months into the season to be able to do it, and to cap it off to be going to a Final Four and chance to go win a national championship is huge. And it means so much to the first class that was ever here at Kentucky when I got here, and all the others that followed, that, we always wanted to, have a dream to get to that point and be mentioned in the same sentence as, other teams have been in the Final Four and won national championships in the past. But, it continues. I still have dreams. One of my frustrations today was I look at ESPN app, I look at USA Today, and not one story on either app on the front page out of about 60 stories had anything to do with women's athletics or volleyball. And we had 8 Sweet 16 matches yesterday, and not one of them was mentioned. And so hopefully tomorrow, or the next day, that, it's a huge sport and it deserves that attention.
Our next question is from Lee Howard. Lee, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Lee Howard, WKYT Television in Lexington. Coach, congratulations. 2 straight nights of late night matches. First of all, how challenging was that for the players, just kind of going through the late night matches? And then how nice will it be to have a couple of days to prepare for Washington?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should just keep playing late night matches. Maybe that's what we're built for. It's long. I mean, it is. You don't know exactly what to do all day, so we just say this is what we're going to do now. It might change in an hour, and we just need to be prepared. And going in tonight, we weren't quite as loose or kind of talkative when we coming over and as we warmed up. But I just continue to have faith and confidence in this team. They've never let us down in terms of when the first whistle blows, they are focused and ready. And so huge tribute to our seniors for leading that way. And our upperclassmen just understand, how hard it is to win and to be successful. And so it'll be nice to have a couple days to rejuvenate a little bit for sure.
Next question is from Hunter Mitchell. Go ahead, Hunter.
Hey, Craig, Hunter Mitchell, Cameron Mills Radio. It seemed like Allie tonight, she's had bigger kill totals throughout her career at Kentucky, but she kind of seemed to be that steadying force for you guys all night long. How important was she just to kind of get you all through kind of a tough first set and then throughout the rest of the match to kind of sustain that level of play?
She was huge. I mean, she was unstoppable for, 2 sets and, some of the amazing plays. I mean, you may have seen the result of a ball she hit thumb down inside the block about 10-foot line, but prior to that, she was on the floor laying out with one hand, digging the ball, and then bump set by Elise Getzing, our middle, and then she crushes it for a kill. I mean, you cannot teach those types of plays. And so she, continued to make great plays, and serve reception was off the charts, but she plays the whole game, and she was definitely a difference maker tonight.
All right, for our final question, we will go back to Larry. Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, Craig, when your seniors came in, they openly talked so much about wanting to win a national championship and everything. As freshmen, before they'd ever played a match. So now that they've got to Final Four, what do you think this moment means to them especially?
I mean, you can't recreate what it feels like to compete at this level and get to the pinnacle of your sport. It's a feeling that you have to earn, and you have to blood, sweat, and tears to get to it. I mean, we talked about it in the recruiting process with them, that was the goal, that was the mission, and they were going to come in and help us do that. And it wasn't easy, and there were a lot of ups and downs, and they continued to come back and want more and go for it and overcome hurdles and obstacles. And but their competitiveness and just their demeanor every single day was the same for 4 years and will be for the next 5 days as we continue to get ready. And today's over. We'll evaluate it tonight and then move on to the next one. And when we wake up in the morning, they'll be ready to do the same thing over again. But very proud of them, and they've delivered.
Thank you, Coach Skinner, for your time today.
Thank you.
We will be joined momentarily by Allie Stumler and Madison Lilley. Please use this time to raise and lower your hand as necessary.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we are joined now by Allie Stumler. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Lee Howard. Lee, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations on making it to the Final Four. As a college student, I'm sure late nights are a common thing, but going back-to-back late nights and coming away with big wins, how challenging was that for this team?
Yeah, well, for me, I am not a late night person. Actually, sometimes, I get the second win, but most nights I am in bed 9:30. So whenever I heard we were the late match game, we really had to pull together. We had to get our eyes on the prize. There were a couple of us who are like that, but overall, we know we're here to win it all, and that's what we're here. We're focused on one game at a time, and we have a big goal in mind, and so we come in every day, and whether that's we play at 2 p.m., whether it's early, 9 a.m., whatever it is, we're going to get in and get it done.
Next question is from Hunter Mitchell. Go ahead, Hunter.
Allie, tonight you seem to be the only one, at least in that first set, who was able to steady the team. You all had some struggles passing and getting some offense going, but they kept going to you and you kept delivering. What was going for you tonight? You've had bigger kill numbers throughout your career, but it seemed like tonight you really were relied upon to be that kind of full package for the team.
Yeah, I think our serve receive, I got to give all credit to serve receive and obviously Madison, stud every night. But our serve receive, I think we passed a 2-4, which is unbelievable in any match when you play, honestly, any team, but especially a good team like Purdue. So serve receive numbers were unreal. And then our defense, we were just talking, I don't think our defense has ever played like that before. So we were just going all out and knowing that this could potentially be our last match. So how do we want to remember it? And I think we handled it as best we could. We took care of business, obviously, in 3. But big credit to them. I think at any point, Craig always talks about it could be your moment, or and then the next set, it could be another person's moment. So you never really know when your time's going to be, but you just have to keep putting yourself in the best position to help your team out at that time.
All right, next question. We'll go back to Larry Vaught. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, Allie, just wonder if you could talk a little bit about Gabby. Seemed like she just stayed on the floor tonight, and how important her play was, especially early. It seemed like y'all were down a little bit, and to get you all going the way she did.
Absolutely. She demands the ball every single time, whether it's a free ball, whatever it is, coming over on our side, you always hear Gabby. She's always controlling traffic. She's wants the ball and she wants to make it perfect. So if it's not perfect, she's mad about it and she wants the next ball to be even better. So I think that's awesome, especially to have one as a leader, and then as a libero, you need someone who's demanding the ball and wants every time they touch the ball to be better and make the next touch better. So it's awesome to have a senior leader like that on our floor and on my side, obviously. But yeah, she demands the ball and she wants to do the job, whatever her job is, the very best. So that's what makes us really good, just having a libero like her.
Our next question will be from John Huang. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Allie, John Huang, NOLA Media, Just the Cats.
Hi.
You played 3 very good opponents, and you made it look easy. Mm-hmm. Talk about continuing to be able to impose your will on these opponents as you move on.
Absolutely. That's a big phrase we say all the time. Before this match, we just kept saying impose our will. Craig says that too. I'm sure he said it in his interview. But, we're not here just by chance. We earned it. We've worked hard for a year now. It's felt like a ton, or a lot of time. But we've earned it. We've earned every second. Madison broke one of our huddles down saying that we've earned this. And it's not just, by luck or by chance that we're here in the Elite 8 moving on to the Final Four. But every day we come in and we grind it out. So definitely any opponent, obviously we didn't start strong in that first set there, but we still made it happen. We were down 17-12, which is crazy just to come back and come out with a sweep. So definitely imposing our will every chance we can.
All right, if there are any final questions for Allie, please raise your hand. All right, we will go back to Larry. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, Alec, Craig's not a guy that, he's pretty humble. But what do you think tonight is meaning to him to finally get him to a Final Four? And how happy are you to be part of the team that gets him there?
It's so special to play for a coach like Craig. You know, all of our coaches, Carly, Anders, Craig, they're all awesome people, and they care so much about the sport. I heard someone ask the question earlier to Craig of, you know, he's such an advocate for the sport, but not only for the sport, but for growing the game in Lexington. He talks all the time about the summer camps he puts on, and us as a team, we come and run them. And they started out just a couple people, like 16 people, I think, campers, and now we get hundreds, and tons of teams come. So just in our area in Lexington, I know the sport has grown so much, and that's definitely because of Craig. You know, he recruits awesome girls who want to be there and want to do their job awesome and give back to younger generations, and that's what makes Kentucky so special. So I think it's just awesome, and I'm so pumped that we can do this for him. And he puts in a lot of time. He has family, 3 kids, a wife at home, and he sacrifices a lot to be with us. And I'm just really happy that, you know, it's awesome to play for a coach like him, all 3 of our coaches. So I'm happy just to get in the Final Four and championship.
Thanks.
Thank you, Allie, for your time.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
We will be joined momentarily by Madison Lilley. All right, we are joined now by Madison Lilley. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. We'll go ahead and start with Larry Vaught. Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, Madison, I remember the first time I ever talked to you and Gabby, and you both kind of shocked me by saying, you know, we're going to take Kentucky to the Final Four and win a national championship. I wasn't sure what to make of that. Well, now you're here. So how happy are you that this journey's got you here?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a long time coming. I remember being recruited and saying, I want to win. I want to compete for a national championship. I'm coming to Kentucky and we're going to make history. And being here tonight and doing that and just the competitive nature that our team has is something that is so special. And Gabby and I, the seniors and I, our whole entire team, this is what we've been training for. And finally being here is super surreal. We're going to enjoy it for the night, but we're hungry for Thursday, and we're excited about what's to come because, just like you said it, this is the reason that we play at Kentucky. We're here to make history.
Just a reminder, if you have questions, please raise your hand. Our next question will be from Lee Howard. Go ahead, Lee.
Lee Howard, WKYT Television in Lexington. Just talk about that first set. Purdue really kind of came out swinging, and you guys had to settle yourselves down. What was the key early on or midway through that first set that allowed you guys to turn things around?
Definitely. I think it's difficult playing in a place where you didn't serve pass. So I think the first 10 points especially just kind of settling in and getting adjusted. And I think we were down 17-12. But I think that's a perfect example of how relentless we are, and we take it point by point. We always talk about how each point has equal value. So we were down, but we just continued to adjust and keep chipping away. I feel like that's been the MO of Allie and Craig's interview. Keep chipping away and just keep grinding. We're really lucky that in practice we are back against the wall all the time, so we're used to having to really show up. So even when things weren't going our way, I was really, really happy with the way that we were able to kind of turn it around and then started passing well and got into a rhythm.
Next question will be from John Clay. Go ahead, John.
I'm asking John Clay, Lexington Herald leader. Both last night and tonight, you guys seem to get stronger as the match went along and really dominated that final set. How much does that speak to the mentality that you guys have?
Absolutely. We talk about every single set just continuing to get better, point by point, and being able to just continue to adjust, continue to feel the rhythm, get used to the arena, all of that. So, I mean, it's pivotal for us just to continue to stay strong throughout the night, these late games, being able to continue to get better as obviously the night goes on is something to feel really good about. So I know that regardless of when we play come Thursday, whether it's 9:30, 10 p.m., come set 3, 4, we're going to be ready to go. And that's a really good feeling.
Our next question is from John Huang. Go ahead, John.
John Huang, NOLA Media, Just the Cats. Maddie, I was watching the telecast and everybody was just oohing and eyeing about Allie and how she was playing. Those of us who have been watching her for the past 3 years, that's really not a surprise. Can you kind of describe her game to the rest of the volleyball world?
Absolutely. Whether you are very seasoned, have a high volleyball IQ or not, it doesn't take much to realize how reliable, consistent, level-headed Allie is. I mean, she is kind of our glue. She really is the most consistent player I've ever played with. And to have somebody on the court like that is huge. I mean, there's not enough words to describe how much her all-around game does for us. I mean, she passes, she's back there playing defense, she hits the bic. There's really nothing she can't do. Today she came out swinging on a random out-of-system ball. I think Mel set, or Elise Getzinger set her. So it's so much fun to play next to Allie, but also it's just massively rewarding, especially for our younger players. Allie's consistency is something that you can't just draw up. She's a really rare player, and we're really happy to have her on our team. Like I said, she's our glue.
All right, we'll take one final question from Hunter Mitchell.
Hunter Mitchell, Kimmer Mills Radio. Madison, you guys played Washington last year in the NCAA tournament and obviously lost that one in 4 sets. And, you all talked about how disappointed you were in your performance, last year. How much does that factor in as motivation and fuel, in the Final Four to try and get you all to a national championship?
Definitely. I mean, I'm not sure that it gets more motivating than right now. Like I said, we've been waiting for these moments since August, or since I guess the last time that we played Washington at Baylor last year and lost in 4. This is the nitty gritty. This is why we compete. This is why we love the game. And regardless of who we're playing and who's across the net, we're going to do everything we can to compete hard every single point. And I know that we're going to be ready to go on Thursday. And it's so fun. It's so exciting. It's addicting. Winning is addicting. And I'm so excited to play on Thursday. It's going to be a fun match.
Thank you, Madison, for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for participating this evening. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us.